is Dianne, and I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer. I was diagnosed November 11th, 2009, Veterans Day. I was at work. Actually, I was wearing camouflage scrubs to honor the veterans. I get a phone call at work. The physician says to me, "How am I?" And I'm like, "I'm great." "Why?" He says, "Well, you have breast cancer." And all I heard was the word was cancer, and he read the whole thing to me, but I was just concentrating on the word cancer. You know, I hung up the phone, and ironically it was Veterans Day. I'm in a camouflage, and I knew, you know what? I'm gonna be a veteran at this. I'm gonna survive it, and I'm just gonna fight like they did and come out a survivor, which I did. The way I was diagnosed was I went for my routine mammogram, came back perfect, but I was complaining of pain, and they would tell me that pain was not a symptom of cancer or anything, so I insisted on getting an MRI done, and to appease me, they let me have an MRI, and the MRI, they saw something. From the MRI, I went straight over to ultrasound, had an ultrasound done. The tech says, "I'll be right back. I need to have the radiologist look at this." When she came back, she said, "I think we need to have a biopsy done per the radiologist, and we would arrange that for you." At that point, I said, "Okay." I went straight home and made my own appointment. I didn't want to wait. So I made my appointment for a biopsy and went from there. During the biopsy, or after the biopsy, when I asked the doctor, you know, does she know anything? She said, "No, nothing's back. We put it on a slide." I said, "There's nothing showing," you know, and being a nurse, I knew that there could be some preliminary results. So I asked her again, and again she said, "No, there's nothing there. We have no results yet. They'll be in 2 to 3 days." But looking at her expression on her face, which is very flat, meaning there's no expression on her face, I knew there was something wrong, that she had seen something, or I assumed she had seen something, because the no look, the stare, I've used plenty of times when a child has been diagnosed with cancer and the parents ask us if we know something, we have to use a blank stare as well. So it was the same stare that I've used over the past 20 years that she had. So I knew deep down that there was something wrong. From that point, when I found out, I went into my manager's office because I was at work. It was, I think, probably 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, and you're just overwhelmed. You know, you wanted to tell somebody, you know, and at that point I didn't want to call home and tell my mother. You know, it's something you don't say over the phone. So actually I went into the office and I spoke to one of the managers, and actually her mother was diagnosed and she was going through it. So that helped at that point. And from there, we just made phone calls because I needed a game plan. I wanted a surgeon, I wanted an oncologist. We made appointments, and that's what I did from there. And then I went back to work until the end of my shift, and I left and went to my parents' house, my mother's house. And at that point, told her. So her reply actually was, "We'll get through it." And again, that thought of being, you know, a warrior, a fighter, a veteran, survivor went through. And just, you know, I needed a game plan. That's the way I am, and I had it. The physician who called and told me that I had breast cancer was my primary physician. So from that point, that's where my game plan went. I needed to go to an oncologist, and I needed to go to find a surgeon and find a plastic surgeon. So there was 3 doctors, 3 appointments that I wanted to make, and I made all 3 of them. The stages and how far it was, how advanced it was basically an oncologist. from the MRI, from the biopsy. Then really to see how far it is, it's when you have surgery, when they put the dye in to see if it's in your lymph nodes and how far it's spread through your lymph nodes. And then that's basically where you'll find, well, I found that I honestly didn't have to go through chemotherapy because I had caught it early enough. Because I caught it at an early stage, the surgeon gave me choices. He told me I could either have a lumpectomy or I could have a mastectomy. Because I had been in the medical field and have been giving chemo and have seen it, I chose to have a double mastectomy and to have reconstruction of both. After the mastectomy, I chose to have a procedure called the transflap, which they take your abdominal muscles and they bring it up to make your chest, to make breasts. And then you can either have implants put in or you can have a fat grafting where they take fat from different areas of your body and fill it in your breast so it's more of a natural feeling. And that's what I chose. So I ended up having 6 surgeries. The first surgery, when I was having the transflap done and having the mastectomy, I ended up being in surgery for about 16 hours. Do I feel I have an advantage being a nurse? Yes and no. The pros, I do know where to go in some respect, but the con as well is I know what is going to happen, or I know bad outcomes. I know that they can give me answers, but they're not. So not so much over a person that doesn't have any medical part, because always someone knows, someone who's in the medical field that can direct them in the right area or right way to go. So it does have its pros, but it also has its cons as well. Where to now when my cancer journey is over? I want to mentor. I want to inspire other people, get involved in organizations that help other people. The one place I really want to go, well, actually anywhere that I can get my passport stamp. Getting my passport stamp, it sounds very funny, but I'll go anywhere just to get my passport stamped.